All right, I'm back with another original. Today I've got the Washington tile. Pretty cool. Uh, was inspired by
Yoshihide Momitani. His model bricks, designed in 1976, published in the 1984 British Origami Society Convention book.
so it's a variation of that, which I learned of it to begin with because of Jeremy Schaefer's bricks. But it was quite intriguing to try to get it all proportional. And then also in the back, you can put 3 pennies in there, or you can get the refrigerator magnet paper and cut out some little pieces and put them in there and stick it on the fridge. So it's pretty cool. You want to see how to fold it? All right. But first, a word from our sponsor, Money Origami Originals, My 2 Cents, or Twist Fold. Uh, who knows what it was for, right? You thought it was just a desk decoration. Well, see, that's how you set it up. And then you really get a bang out of it. Well, that one didn't work as well. But, so it's pretty cool. Put the snap and pops inside and you slam it on a hard surface, and the penny on top smashes it. So you can get a real bang out of that one. All right. We'll be back with the model in a minute. All right. So we've got Bill 93. What happened to 94? You'll have to find out later. This is Wednesday, December 11th, 2019. And this is the time of the year you can go to the bank and get you some brand new ones for yourself. You can go in there and get 10 or 20 of them for the projects coming up on the channel. Might need a few more if we can really come up with some new models. Now, the challenge was that I presented myself was to not make any folds in the center tiles to make it really pristine and cool looking. So that was the goal. Oh yeah, you can make it stand up too, see? But without the pennies now, it might stand up a little bit better. Might tend to fall forward with the pennies in there. So those are optional. Refrigerator magnet. You know what I'm talking about, right? Those little flat square magnets. They're like this and they say junk. You just cut out a little piece about the size of a penny. All right. All right. The first thing we're going to do is mark the middle of each side. So don't crease it, but just make a little pinch mark. So go in a little bit and make a good solid pinch though so we can find it later. We're not going to be using that right away. All right, I'm going to have to adjust the cam just a tiny bit. I'm bumping it. So we're going to make a 3x7 square grid on the front. All the mountain folds of that grid will be on the front. So divide the bill into thirds and just squish it a little bit around where the serial number shows. And then bring the other side over and hang on. Okay, then you bring the other side over and line up this crease with that edge, which the pinch mark will be in the middle of. So that's kind of cool, I suppose. Now you can make dollar folding proportions out of any square sheet. And if you want to learn how to make them from a rectangle, Jeremy Schaefer has that. And some of the models use a half sheet. You could probably get away with it on this if you're just making the tile. Yeah, I don't see why not. So what I'm going to do, I believe, is I'm just going to make a video of some of these preliminary steps and upload that, and then say which one to start with, because yeah, I want to get this all really straight, and then it ends up making the videos take a lot longer than they need, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to get the channel going while I have a chance here. And time is running out. And then it'll be back to maybe one video a week if at best, if you're lucky, unless they're super simple. But this one's pretty cool. All right, see, because I want it to come out really nice. It's a brand new bill and everything. This is my keeper. And that was a practice bill there. So get you some new bills at the banks right now in the USA. They got brand new money all over. I'm fairly certain. And that's like in the 90 upper percentile. Okay, so you got that. Now you can fold these corners up. In fact, you can leave it closed and get it exactly to this edge. And you can just pinch right down here. And then do the same on the other one. Close it. And just fold that down. Corners lined up. And pinch. And you can check it with the other one, see. You don't really have to do two. Now we're going to go this way. But if you do two pinch marks, then you've got some really good. If they're not even, then you can tell. But you really only need one, and then you line up the edges. All right, so that is 1/7 of the horizontal part of the bill. And so that's pretty cool. Now you can fold in thirds. So I like to put the creased edge inside and leave that folded in, and then make thirds just like the rest, just like the starting fold. It's like a double check if you switch which one is tucked under. I don't know. Everybody has their ways of doing some of these things, so just get you the mountain. All the mountains on top, 3x7 grid, squares. And if you do real precision folds like I'm attempting here, it should come out real nice. Okay, so now all you got to do is put this crease over to this edge. So you've got the one tucked in over to this edge. And there's the left side of George tile. And there's the right side. Then you fold this into that crease. Make sure it's all the way in there. All right, now we've just got to make one right here, which is if you unfold this flap, you can tuck it into the center. Well, it's not really the center. You can tuck it into the next one. And you can tell you're doing it right when these points line up. Okay. So now we've got our sevenths. By 3. And they're nice and square. And we don't need those. Okay. So now turn over and you take this 1/3 flap and you fold the raw edge into that crease on both sides. So let's do that. And I'm checking to make sure it's all the way tucked in there. Now, if you fold it up like that, the crease should come right to that center pinch that we made in the beginning. So that's kind of convenient. Oh, I got the hiccups. Might have to hit pause. So get that out of the way. That's not why the pinch marks are there, by the way. All right, so it should look like that. And, well, if you did a nice job, which I think you did, go ahead and crease that down. It's my creasing tool, typical dice. Real nice. See, the people that keep watching the channel, I don't want to keep saying the same stuff to over and over again, like the dice and this and that. And then the people that are brand new, though, I want them to be able to catch up so they can enjoy all the origami we've learned so far, too. Does not like focusing on the desk there. All right, I'm going to have to get rid of the hiccups. Well, I suppose you don't really need the pinch marks, but the original thought was, see, unfold everything now. Was then you can fold this raw edge into the center pinch mark because we need to have a valley fold in between these two mountains. But you can just also you can just bring these together, these two mountain folds, and line them up and pinch all the way down, pushing it in and making your valley like that. So, or, now let me just crease that. Or you can fold this flap into the center fold on the front ways, because we're making a valley on the front in between these two creases. So you can do it this way and line it up. But that's left over from the design process, and I think it's just fine to. Now I got it in the right spot, but I think it's just fine to line up the two mountain creases with the valley in between. So that's pretty good. All right, so those are all the horizontal creases. And so with George up, it looks like that. Hmm.
Break is over. Now get back to work.
All right, so you might need a little pen cap coming up. The reason why I chose this is it's not too pointy, but it is pretty sharp. It's good for a lot of things with my origami. So now open it up a little bit. And what we're going to do is lay this crease over this way and this one over that way. So go ahead and do that. And if you want, you can flatten it out a little bit. Now those other creases that are open now, those get used, but not at the moment. So now find your original 7th crease next to George and next to the green logo, and bring these two mountains together. So fold that back and have it like this and push in. Line these up. Line up the sides. Make sure there's no kinks in there. Line up the other side. All right. Now do the same thing on the other side of George's head with the black logo. So there, you can unfold that a little bit. So bring up that crease, bring up this one, bring them together. No kinks in here. Line these up. All right. So now if you're going to crease it on the other side really sternly, don't pull on the edge of the paper. So pinch where that double fold is, and you can crease in the middle, and you feel the bump and you stop. Yeah, those creases don't really matter that much. I mean, they have to be solid at the ends, but the middle doesn't really matter. So sorry about that extra fold there. So now, I'm not sure which part is actually easier next, because I'm not making 10 of these. but I did make 10 to figure it out. But not with dollars. So now what you got to do is go inside it. You got to flatten this, but you want this mountain crease to be right in the middle. So I'm using the pen cap, and what I'm doing is holding this together, and you put the pen cap in to get it started. So I shouldn't have creased that much. Hope you didn't do that. So you can just round it a little bit around it. Push these together. See, and then when you flatten it, just go right. You're holding it there, and just go right for the end. Or, yeah, that's why the crease is there. You can just bring this mountain over to that new valley you just made, and just pinch it a little bit, and you can turn it around if you want and do the other mountain into the valley. And now make sure it's lined up. See how the crease is a little bit over that way? So I'm wetting my finger right here, just barely. Lining these up. And just rolling it over a little bit. It's not super critical, but you do want it in the middle. Actually, yeah, those matter. So I'm going to push over a little bit. Bring that right to that crease. I'll show you a better technique on the other side. On this one. All right, so that way you have options because everybody folds a little bit different. So it should look like that. We've got a nice little pleat there, or a flattened fold. So yeah, just open this up and fold this mountain to that valley. So you just curve it around a little and bring it right to that valley on the edge. A little pinching. Do this side. A little pinching. Open it up. Do this side. And just a little pinching. Now put them both and make sure they're smashed together. You want it nice and tight. Well, unless you want to make bricks, then you can have a little gap, and that's the mortar. So now this side was pretty tricky because we don't need that many folds. We just need one fold right there. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, so I wanted to make the bricks with the dollar for a long time, and I made some really cool brick ones. But then I thought it'd be really cool with George right in the middle, Mr. Washington. So now we just need it. We need a little guide. So you fold this corner down to this crease right here. So you fold that down. And if you want to be super symmetrical, which, I like to do, You can just do all four corners right now. So I wouldn't smash them too hard, but since they are the corners, they're not going to look that bad on the finished model. As long as you get them straight. So right there. All right, let me make sure. Okay, so you got all four corners folded in, and you bring this mountain over to that marker point. Just like that. A little pinch to the other side. So yeah, you can make, even more cooler stuff with square paper, origami, and other shapes, but it's a challenge to make things work out really cool with the dollar shape 3x7 proportion. So that's that one. And then you can undo those corners. And you can fold them back just a little bit to get them undone. Right on their fold. That's fine. So now you bring this mountain to that line. And it looks a little tiny bit crooked. There we go. And then a real precision step is coming up. And then the last part is really pretty fun. So that's why I decided to do it. It's just turned it off. This is pretty cool when it forms the bricks, which, it's kind of like a corner tile piece and stuff, or an edge piece. So now you've got it all ready to go. Should look just like this. Front of the bill is up, and from the end it looks like that. Top's the same as the bottom. All right, so face down. And now if you want, you can make sure you got everything where you want, and now you can crease it up. So I'm going to crease it up in the middle of these pleats, and then on these ends. We don't want any of these folds slipping during the next step. So this is the most difficult part, but that doesn't mean that it's super hard or anything, okay? So you want it probably like this on a flat surface. Just like that. And the pen cap might help, especially if you have big fingers or no fingernails. I've got mine all cut really short. That's how I do them. So might not be able to do. Yeah, you can get to it. You got to be able to lift up this flap right here, this crease right there. We're going to lift these up and fold them on that line over this way, making sure that nothing shows underneath these edges here. So This is an electronic little manipulating tool. And if you hold right in these shallow spots, you can lift this up. Now you can use the pen cap just the same. But what we're doing, and you can lift it up too, because a lot of money origami is freehand anyway, is from this point right here. That's why I got the pointer out. From this point right here to that crease right there, we need a diagonal. And it has to be as precision as you can. So you pull that up and you get it all the way to that crease right there. And you're pulling this down to get to that crease right there. See, this edge needs to come to this edge right here. So just like that. See? And then you do the other one on the other side. Just the same. So you get that like you're making a box. And then when you got those, make sure it doesn't end up crushing with it like that. So you push this down as you put the pleat back down. And make sure that's straight too. So you got to pay attention to a few things. But once you get, just practice on one. And then once you got a good method, go ahead and do a whole bunch more. See, I'm pulling this to make sure it doesn't get off the right angles. Okay, so it's just like that. Beautiful. Oh, you can see it a tiny bit right there. So it's really best if you get it where at the most you can barely see it, or none at all like that. Okay, now do the other side of that one. And pull it in. And pull it in. And so you can lift up right here. Pull if you need to. So Jeremy Schaefer's tutorial bricks. I might put it up in the card box. And you know, he does really good instructions. And then you just lay it down toward the center. See, those are the little pockets where you can put the penny. Which, you know, I think it's kind of cool. When someone picks it up, then it has a little heft to it. All right, so that one's really good right there. That's a great example. And then you just smash those down if you want right now before you manipulate the other 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can open these up like you're making a little box. to kind of do both of them at the same time. And then push them in, making sure they line up. And then fold it down just a little. Get the other side. See, make sure that lines up. So I pulled it down that way. And this one I'm pulling toward the middle. And now I should be able to set this back down. And there we go. So before you do smash them with the dice or something, make sure they're nice and how you want, because these folds are important to make the next step, which is really fun if you haven't made one of these before. It's pretty fun if you haven't made the bricks. The next step's pretty cool when you actually make the bricks in front offset from these tiles. All right, so we've just got 4 more, which it's kind of 2 at a time. Just open it up like a box. And just do 1 corner at a time. Here's another way you can. Now these type of instructions I'll always probably show because I learn as I'm making them every time, even if I've made a model 10 times. I can still learn something cool, new way to mess with it. But don't go over the peak. So that one almost went. So you hold it in nice and snug while you're doing it. And wow, have I been out of focus? Don't really actually look in the viewfinder while I'm doing it much. I hope not. All right, so those were really good examples because none of them are showing. Now make sure these are pushed together good, and then you can give it the smash. But the reason why I came up with this technique on this model was to preserve the most pristine. It wasn't just about making fewer folds. It was also about the way we're going to undo these pleats at the end. So it keeps these in the best shape as possible. All right, so it should look like that. Hiccups are back. All right, so now face up. Cool. Next part. This is the funnest part and the final steps. Now you can simplify this model in different designs of it by folding a 28 by 12 grid. But then, of course, you've had creases in here, but then you can decide what part of the bill you want to highlight. And we made 2 pleats going this way, well, 3/4 pleats instead of the whole thing on the ends. And then we made 2 full pleats and 2 half pleats going this way. So you would still make the pleats like this with your 28 by 12 grid. and then you would make as many horizontal pleats and vertical pleats spaced out where you want, but they have to be 4 units on a, see how it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little grid units. So that's why it was quite a challenge to make the tile like this. Now the fun part, I'll show several different ways of doing it. But first off, you can probably just grab this mountain fold. See, there's no creases here, so we have to make that crease. But you just grab this mountain fold and you can drag it over. This is where a pen cap is a good tool. You can lift this up a little bit, and then you grab this mountain fold and you pinch right here in the middle, and you pull it this way. And if you lay it down flat, you can also do it. You can put a few more fingers on the bill to keep it from moving. See, one here, one here, one here. And then you drag this over. And you start to lay it down, but make sure that's a nice vertical line before you pinch it. And then you pinch right on the intersection. So this line and this line. And now you've got, I believe it's called an iso area twist square. And then you drag this one. So if you put it down and you press here and here and here, then you can lift that up and pull it over. And you have to pull pretty hard because the dollar's not as soft as paper. And so there you go. There's a little tile, and there's that one. Now another way to do it is a pair of tweezers. And these are angled. And you can get all the way under to that crease right there. So we're looking right here. And you can move it right over to the center. And you can just press. You still want to press down usually. Now a lot of money origami is done freehand. Now it's not coming out so easily because the dollar's pretty stiff and I didn't lift up here. So lift up a little bit. I forgot about that. Save it then with the tweezers. You don't want to grab fully deep. That's what I did. You want to grab toward the edge. And then when this is separated from the other piece in there, then you can grab on the very edge. So like that. So I don't like that as much as just using my hand. There we go. Beautiful. Now this one goes that way to meet that seam. So let's lift it up again. Pull this out. You can do it freehand in the air too. But it tends to try to bend the corners a little bit. Right there, see? So I don't want that. So I'm setting it down and I'm holding these two squares. Because there's a lot of different ways to fold this. But then it messed up with the corners. And we don't want that. We want really nice models. So this one goes this way. And you can pull this edge and pull this edge. and we're flattening the angle folds underneath. So that one moved a tiny bit right there. But that looks pretty sharp. We've got mortar in between there. So now this one goes over to that crease. That's a little crooked. Straighten that back up. See the pen cap, this big pen cap, it's not too sharp. So you can really use it to move the paper well. It works on regular origami too. So now I've got to fold this one over to there. I'm holding here and here, and you can hold here on this corner. And lift that up a little bit. Makes it easier. All right. That went right over. And then on the back, the bricks go this way. But they're just partial bricks because we made a giant one in the middle. So it's not bricks, it's tiles. And now we just got to do the bottom edge. The exact same thing. I'm going to lift them all up first a little bit. Straighten it out and smash it. So just practice on one or two to get your technique. Let's see, I don't want anything showing. I'm pretty picky. And that was the challenge, because you can do the twist folds by twisting a different portion first. But this is the technique to make the Washington tile that I came up with. The original, as far as I know. Haven't seen anything. I look up and follow lots of origami to make sure I show you original models here. And they are inspired by other origami sometimes, sure. It's how it works. Electronics, everything works that way. So see, with the pen cap, I can straighten that up. Pull that down a little. Move that one over a little. Maybe that one needs pulling out and that one needs shoving in a little. Beautiful. All right, so that's pretty much the video. Sorry they take so long. I don't know. This way, you know what? You can fold along with me, because I'm not good enough to keep up with any of the origami videos on there. But I think you can fold these about the same pace I do. And so if that's true, I'd like to know it. In the comments section, you can leave me a comment saying you don't have to hit pause very much to keep up with the video and fold the origami. Because I want you to fold it, not just watch it. All right, so there's my Washington Tile Company. And too bad they don't fit exactly together but they fit together pretty good. You know, you can have one square in, and you can stick them together. So if you want to put the pennies inside, then you know, or the now the magnetic refrigerator magnet paper. You can buy sheets of that, 8.5 by 11. You can get a couple sample sheets, and that'll last you for tons of origami magnet, dollar money origami magnets, or regular. And you can put them in like that, and you can fold. You can tuck it in one side. See, like that, and then you can just barely lift up right here and tuck it inside. And the dimes will go in easier if you want to use dimes. But I think it makes it kind of cool when someone goes to pick it up with some pennies in there. So that makes it a little bit more fun at IMO. And just gently maneuver the paper. Now on our sponsor from Money Origami Originals, Twist Fold, my 2 cents. Pretty obvious where the pennies go in, but you got to stick them in there before you fold it. And you put the snapping pops in there. And see, then you open that up and take out the burnt one and reload it. Get those little rocks out of there. And a couple more. And then you just reload it with another one and close it back up. All right. So that's pretty much the video. Thanks for watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, all that jazz. Because, you know, it really takes a long time to develop a technique to share the origami with you. For example, the snow crystal star charm. That's bill number 94. And what happened is I was using a new bill and making the video and everything. And just couldn't really get some part to show you, and too many errors were on the video. And you know, it takes even longer if you edit them, but I suppose I could have saved it that way. I did make it into one. So that's bill number 94. But when I show this one, I really want to, you know, show you the best way possible. And just want to figure out a couple better techniques to show you. Well, I don't want that big of a hole in the middle, which, you know, it didn't on the original. And it's just a little loose inside. It's a lot of trouble to tighten up. Or if we use a little tiny bit of glue, we can make it. But this has no tape or glue. So that's what's pretty cool about it. All right, so there's the model. Washington Tile Company, bathroom tile, I suppose. They use it on the ends of tile pieces. You have your big tile piece and then the edge. So it looks pretty cool, I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Talk to you later. Have a great day.